What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Let's go. Appreciate you guys so much for hopping on. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Wednesday. Today we're flying a beautiful Air France 777. Appreciate you guys so much for hopping on. Shout out to Rock Out. Good to see you, man. Keep on rocking out. We got Rio. What's going on, Rio? We got Brian in the chat. We got Antonio. We got Christian O. We got DJ Rich. We got cool videos from a cool guy. Good to see you, man. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Let's go ahead and start off this beautiful flight right now. We got Rio on the runway right now. Awesome. Great flight suggestions, man. As Brian just said, awesome flight routes. Appreciate you. I think this was Rock Out suggestion. Let me know what you guys did today. In a few minutes, guys, we're going to be giving the famous, the awesome Captain Nick a call. He was going to be on the live for about 45 minutes or so. We're going to give him a call right now. Once again, thank you guys so much for hopping on. Let's go ahead and start this flight right now. Let me know what you guys did today. How was school? How was work? What did you guys have for dinner? After we take off, we're going to give Captain Nick a call. Hey, what's up, Alexis? Good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a good day. All right, V1, rotate. All right, a little bit windy. And we are up. Long live Australia. Good to see you, man. I hope you're having a good day. All right, here we go. Gonna make a sharp left turn. And good to go. You had no school today? Nice, man. What did you do today? All right, let's go and give Captain Nick a call right now. What in the world? That is crazy. W in the chat for Brian with a 50 gifted. Oh my goodness. Sheesh. Brian, what in the world? W in the chat for Brian, man. Thank you so much, man. I had to pause the podcast and pick up to Nick. I'm gonna give him a call back, man. But shout out to you, Brian, man. Brian said much love, my guy. Brian with the 50 bomb gifted, man. Thank you so much, man. What about my heart? Appreciate the support, Brian. I really appreciate you guys, man. You guys are the best. That is insane, man. Thank you so much, man. Wow. All right, let's go ahead and give Captain Nick another call. That is crazy, man. Much love. Sheesh. Flight sim from Braden. What's going on, man? Braden, good to see you. All right, here we go. Marshall, good to see you, man. Hope you're having a wonderful night. It's a hey trip today. I saw Ethiopia flight from Rome to Atlanta. Nice, man. More M&Ms indeed, man. Hey, big shout out to you, Brian. Really appreciate you, man. I said wanted to do it before you call Nick. Appreciate you, man. Much love. Yeah, we're gonna try to get him on the phone here in just a minute. Try to give him a call, but whenever he picks up. Once again, shout out to everyone on TikTok. Good to see you guys. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day as we're right now flying a beautiful 777. We're also live on YouTube. Feel free to join us. Welcome to the stream. All right. See if we can give him another call. Rock Out, how was it there, man? How's the seat doing, man? I'll tell you, man, this seat, this gaming chair is a game changer. Steady Mars, how you doing, bro? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. This 777 is flying beautiful. Rio, what plane are you flying in today, man? And also, Brian, let me know what plane you're flying in. Wait, I see that somebody's username is Trip Nick PT. Is that somebody from our chat? There's no way. All right, in the meantime, let's go ahead and wait. I think he's going to give us a call back sometime. But once again, hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Say Trippy start good today. Oh, yeah, I'm telling you, man. Appreciate you guys so much, man. Big shout out to Brian once again. So the Embraer 195. Nice. What's going on, Steady Moss? What happened? Rio's flying the beautiful Airbus A380 Air France. Sheesh. Nice. Beautiful plane. All right, so right now we're at 371. Hello.
What's up, man?
Yes, sir. We got Captain Nick on the line, guys. Captain Nick, good to have you on, man. Much love to you. For let me go to give you a quick introduction for those who don't know you yet. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line we have the awesome Captain Nick. He's a awesome captain for Southwest 737 Airlines. So really appreciate him so much for hopping on. He definitely helps us out a lot with a bunch of questions we don't know on for aspiring pilots. So once again, thank you so much for being on, man. Much love to you, Captain Nick. How's everything going, man? How's the schedule looking like?
Fantastic, man. Better than I deserve. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How's the schedule? Is it super busy this month, or?
So this month is my sim month, and
yeah.
I'm kind of taking this week to just cram down some studying, and then next week I go into Dallas for the week basically, and just go in and do some sims, and then after that, I've got quite a few flights kind of back to back because I tried to take this week for study, so I kind of moved my trips towards the end of the month.
Got you. But you know, we all believe in you, man. You know, you got this, bro. So next week, you're gonna be taking that test, the simulation. That you're gonna be awesome, man. Everything is gonna be good. Gonna be past it. We all believe in you. Much love.
I'm gonna try to get some pictures while I'm there.
Hey, that would be awesome.
Nice, I'll put them up on the Discord so you guys can kind of see what we go through.
Much love, man. Once again, guys, this is Captain Nick. Feel free to ask any question you guys have. He will answer it for sure. Marshall said, "Hey, Captain Nick, what is your favorite airline other than Southwest?" Favorite airline?
Man, I mean, obviously pretty partial to Southwest, but you know, when I was going through, I mean, Southwest is where I always wanted to go to, but United was a kind of a close runner-up for me, and that's just personal preference, man. I mean, I like their. They seem to have kind of that same style as me. They're a little more laid back. Delta's a little more intense for me, so I like United for that reason.
Nice. Got you. So wait, so when you were becoming a pilot, you had to choose between was it like options between Southwest and something else, and you just landed on Southwest, decided, you know what, Southwest is my dream, so I'm gonna go with Southwest.
Yeah, so I was very fortunate. So when you first start flying, you know, you build all your hours, and people always ask you, it's kind of like, oh, what do you want to be when you get older? Like, it's kind of like that, but it's like, where do you want to, like, who do you want to fly for? What kind of flying do you want to do? Because a lot of people, they don't understand, like, when you say I want to be a pilot, they immediately think, oh, you're going to be an airline pilot. That's not necessarily the case.
That's true.
You could be a corporate pilot, charter pilot. You could fly, like, I used to fly for celebrities in Nashville. Like, that was a great job. I could have done it for the rest of my life.
Nice.
So I was fortunate that when I started applying for the airlines, within a week, I actually got called by American, United, Delta, Southwest, UPS, and FedEx.
No way.
And like that's unheard of, because, like, you know, back in the day, the joke was, hey, you know, who do you want to fly for? And the answer was whoever calls first.
That's true.
And you know, when I was fortunate enough to get a call from, you know, it's not like I'm super special or anything. Like I got a call from all of them and made my choice. Whereas a lot of people are like, oh, you know, American called first, so I went to American. But no, I was in kind of a unique spot.
Yeah. Wow. That is pretty cool, man. That is definitely a unique spot. Because as like you said, a lot of pilots I've known and spoken to, they say basically whoever calls, they're going to. But the fact that you had options, that is amazing, man. That is a blessing. That is great. That's pretty cool, man.
Sure.
We have another question here. Say, hey, Nick, what is your dream vacation?
Probably just hanging out with Trip.
Hey, man, that's my too, man. That's my dream too.
I don't know. I mean, mine is, I don't care so much of where I'm going as long as I'm with the right people. So, like,
nice,
dude, being with my wife, seriously, we could go anywhere, and it's like just a fun trip. But I mean, you know, like, Europe is always fun to go to. I'm a bigger dude, so me going to the beach is not like my favorite thing. Like, I know Trip, you love being in Miami. Like, dude, I hate the heat. So I'd rather be like, I love going to Europe. I love going up to the mountains. I love being in a forest. Like, I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so like, put me in a forest all day long.
Really? So okay, nice. Awesome. Once again, guys, welcome to the stream. What's up, Roy on TikTok? It says, is this Microsoft Flight Simulator? Yes, sir. This is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Rio said, Captain Nick, who's the coolest celebrity you've flown for?
So I have a non-disclosure agreement. I can't really talk about it, but I would say, believe it or not, I've flown for quite a few country music stars, and a lot of them tend to be pretty down to earth and really cool. I only met, I would say, I guess the opposite. I only met a couple people who I flew with, and I was like, man, you know, just like bad vibes, bad juju. But yeah, most of them are really, really cool.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Definitely got you, man. Hey, what's up, Roy? Yeah, you can get this game on PC or Xbox. It's called Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. It's for $60. Said Brandon said, "Is the P? Oh, that's a good question. Is the PMDG 737 as realistic as the real 737?"
So I wouldn't necessarily as realistic, but I mean they do a really, really good job with that plane. I think I've said it many times in the Discord. If you want one as close to real life as possible, that's probably the one I would go with. Obviously, there's its weird quirks and whatnot. And like, what's weird is like it's actually harder for me. And once again, I'm just using an Xbox controller, but like it's harder for me to fly that thing than it is in real life, because like in real life, it's kind of like being in a car. You can just reach up and like turn a knob or twist a dial or whatever.
Gotcha.
You don't have to focus a camera and push a button.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just easier in real life.
Got you. It's crazy to think it's easier in real life, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because you're using an Xbox controller, and in real life you're using the actual hands and whatnot. So yeah, that makes sense. Let me see.
Marshall said, using like your peripherals and everything versus like in the game, like you're just looking at one spot.
Yeah, exactly. Got you. Marshall, what's up, man? Good to see you, man. Max, good to see you. I think this is your second stream in a row. Thank you so much for hopping on, man. Right now we're on the phone with Captain Nick. He's a captain for Southwest. We're happy to have him on whenever he gets free time to talk about aviation with us, tell us about how to become a pilot, a lot of good stuff, and being a pilot, man. So we have a question here from Marshall. He said, "Hey, Captain Nick, have you ever been to Germany or flown on Lufthansa?"
No, I have never flown on Lufthansa or actually been to Germany. That's one of our next trips.
Wow, that's going to be nice.
Yeah, we're looking at Germany and we're looking at Ireland.
Wow, that's a nice vacation. That is beautiful. Yeah. Nice. Alexis said, Captain Nick, what Boeing 737 have you flown on the most?
Probably, gosh, I don't know. I mean, I could get in my logbook and actually figure that out. But
got you.
We have the 700, the 800, and the Max 8. So, I'm on all those quite a bit. I would say that right now we're getting more and more Max 8, 800s. But I probably have more flight time in a 700 than I do in an 800 right now. But we're changing that kind of actively.
So, since we're on the 700, 800, I was asked that question a few weeks ago. What's the main difference between the 700 and the 800?
It's just size. I mean, so like this, the 800 is a little bit longer. It holds a few more people, but the 700 goes further because it's not as much weight. So like, like hypothetically, right? And you would never do this, but like hypothetically, let's say trip you charter out a 737-700. Yeah. And it's just like 5 of us on board. Dude, like that plane could like fly across the country, like fly all over the world. Wow. Because there's just no weight. It's just all fuel. So these planes are mainly limited based on the weight that they're holding. And so Southwest wants to inevitably get, like, when the Max 700 arrives, it's like right now we have the Max 8, but it's too heavy to take it like crazy long distances. So we take it to Hawaii from like the West Coast, but we can't take it to Hawaii from Denver. But the Max 7s are meant to fix that problem, and we're supposed to go Denver to Hawaii direct, hopefully once we get the Max 7s involved.
Wow, that's pretty cool, man. It's pretty good to know.
Flight.
It's a long flight indeed. If I remember correct, you said
going to Europe from the East Coast.
Yeah, exactly. Remember you said you wouldn't want to do like red-eye flights. You don't like the longer flights because you prefer the 3-hour flights, 2-hour flights.
I do personally. I mean, I'm not gonna like scoff at going to Hawaii, but like, yeah, it's better for me. I'd rather do like 2 or 3 flights a day versus doing like one crazy long. Now, an 8-hour flight is also a little different than like a 16-hour flight too.
Yeah,
like
that's
some
true.
of these guys that are doing, flying over to, from Charlotte to Germany. I mean, that's a long flight. Or like going to China or something. Like those are, when you're starting to talk like 12+ hour flights, I can't do that. An 8-hour flight I might be able to do, but 12, 13, 14 hours, that's crazy.
Nice. Yeah, that is a long flight. That is indeed a very long flight. Even as a passenger, that's a very, very long flight. Rio, Amisha comment said, Captain Nick, who's the coolest? I seen that already. He said, Captain Nick, you should visit Banff, Alberta, if you like mountains.
Yeah, if I love it.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a question here from TikTok over here, Janny. Johnny been watching the stream for the last, I think, 2-3 days in a row. Good to see you. Thank you so much for the question. He's just said, hey, Captain Nick, what do you think about the Airbus A340? And have you ever been to Germany or Zurich? Yeah, so that's the question.
So yeah, I've never been to Germany yet. 340 is an awesome plane. Actually, one of them almost flipped me one time. They've got a lot of power under them. I was flying for a different airline, my last airline, and ATC put a little too close to an A340, and we were coming into JFK, and there's a thing called wake turbulence, and it like tried to flip my plane over.
Oh my goodness!
So,
no way.
Yeah, luckily we were. Yeah. It's just a lot of jet wash, and it tries to essentially roll your plane around. So we were able to get out of it, but it's definitely not a fun feeling.
Wow. Got you. Willie, good to see you, man. You just hopping on, so you just got back from school. Are we allowed to fly with you? Oh, yeah, for sure, man. You're definitely allowed to fly with me. Just hop on, turn over to East USA Zone or East USA server. You should be able to find me wherever you're at. You see, you got the VFR map right there. You can find the airport code. Much love. All right, we have a question here from Antonio. Say another question. So I'm going to be going on a flight in 2 weeks. I was wondering when I should ask to see the cockpit, before or after the flight.
So definitely before, because we may have to tell you after. And so it's kind of a weird thing. Like, as long as everything's on time and everything's chill, you may be able to come down early and see the cockpit early. But there's plenty of times where I'm like, hey man, we're way behind. How about stepping up at the end of the flight? You know what I mean? Because if you step in right now, sometimes like people stop boarding because they see you get into the cockpit, and it's kind of a weird situation. And so and if you're with your friends, like they're trying to take a picture of you in the cockpit, and like you're blocking boarding, and so it's kind of, you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's better at the end of the flight, but you definitely, it doesn't hurt to ask at the beginning. That way, A, you're telling them, hey, I'm interested in seeing the plane, and B, maybe they say, hey, why don't you just hop up right now? And then you get your opportunity. So I would ask beforehand, personally.
Got you. Thank you so much for answering that. That's a question we were discussing yesterday. Marco said, hey, Captain, do you think the 737-700 is harder to flare because it's light?
So the 700, yes and no. They both have their things. So the 700 is lighter. It's more of a little race car. It feels like a little rocket ship when you're flying it. But the 800 is longer, and so you don't get to flare as much on the 800 as you do on the 700, because the tail would then be closer to the ground. But I will tell you, 9 times out of 10, I can grease the 800 on the runway, no problem. That 700, man, takes a little bit of finesse. Every once in a while, that runway can get to bite you.
Got you. Rock out. That was a great question, man. Great question.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Let me see. So, Trip, can Captain Nick choose the next flight? Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, Captain Nick. In the meantime, I know we only have you for 45 minutes.
Pressure, guys.
Yeah, we give you until the end of the podcast. If you could just let us know. It's going to be a nice short flight, 30 minutes or less. In the meantime, let me go to next. Another question. Somebody said, "Hi, Captain Nick. What is your longest flight? Longest flight you've ever done?"
Probably in that 6-hour range. Personally, I mean, I've been on longer flights, but the ones that I've flown personally, I think probably 6, maybe almost 7 hours. And we, like in Southwest, we go coast to coast, and we could hypothetically jump the pond. It's just, we don't necessarily want to, but I think I've done quite a few from like Florida to like Seattle. I mean, that's Miami to Seattle is not a joke. That's a long flight.
That's a long flight. That is a long flight.
Not my favorite thing to do.
Got you. I myself have a question here. There's an article here that says Delta pilot charters plane to bring 112 guests to Hawaii for his retirement party. It says, awesome. After 33 years of flying around the world, the Delta Airlines pilot decided to mark the hanging of his wings with a quiet party with his family and friends. So what do you think about that? Would you do that, and how much would that cost to actually rent out a 777 or 767 that he rented? What do you think the price is, and would you do that?
I think he rented a 330, if I'm right.
330. Okay, got you.
and it probably cost him like $100,000. I mean, it's no joke. It's expensive. Because you have to think, and I want you to break this down a little bit. So there was another guy on Discord in the Ask a Pilot section who was asking how much would it cost to fill up a plane from empty to full, and I was giving him some just base numbers. Well, a 747 was like $500,000. Now, that's we never have a plane empty, and we never necessarily top a plane off. So, it's not like it's costing us $500,000 every time we top off a plane. But, and we do fuel pricing, like hedging and whatnot. That helps. So, like, we buy so much fuel that we basically play the market with the fuel prices, and we say, hey, we want to be locked in at this price. Yeah. And we know that if fuel goes up, we got a good deal. And if fuel goes down, we just kind of shot ourselves in the foot. But we buy so much jet fuel in a year that we kind of get a discount, if you will. So if you think about it, an A330, let's say it's going to cost, operating cost, let's just say to fly to Hawaii, it's going to cost them, I don't know, like $150,000 to do that flight. Yeah. Well, the reason your ticket is so expensive is you're splitting that cost X amount of ways, right? So if that plane can hold 300 people, you're splitting $150,000 by 300 people.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So like if you wanted to take a smaller plane with less people, like a private jet, well, now you've got a bigger cost per person, right? So that's why chartering a jet is more expensive, is you're taking like 6 people instead of like 100 people. Now this guy, he probably got a good rate from Delta because he worked for him. Yeah. But he was doing the whole thing himself. He was like, this is cool. This is a retirement party. I'm absolutely looking at doing something very similar when I go to retire. So I'm already ready for that. But yeah, I mean, it probably cost him somewhere in the realm of $100,000.
That is pretty cool, man. Can you charter 737s like a Southwest 737s?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do sports teams and stuff all the time.
Okay, nice. That is awesome.
Like there was nothing saying the trip can't go on there and say, hey, call Southwest directly and say, hey, I'm looking at chartering. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing stopping that.
Got you. But once again, guys, welcome to the stream. George, good to see you, man. Right now we have on the line a Southwest pilot. Name goes by Captain Nick. He's been on the channel for almost a year now, so he gives us insights about pilots and help the younger folks get to know how to become a pilot and whatnot. Also, let me see. Spiderman, welcome to the chat, man. Good to see you. Panda, welcome to the stream. Who else? Max, you say you got to go to church. Yeah, no problem, man. Saturday, we don't stream on Fridays and Saturday. We're going to be back on Sunday, but we're streaming tomorrow. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good day. We're headed over to the beautiful Zurich. Next question I see here from Justin. Justin said, how do ground crew know how much fuel to put in the airplane?
So we have kind of at Southwest we do it a little different, but there's essentially when the release happens, all the paperwork happens all at the same time. We get a thing called a flight release, and I think I've taken a couple pictures of those and kind of shown on the Ask a Pilot page, like this is what it looks like. This is what I'm looking at, and on there it'll say how much fuel. And it used to be that we would then go down and tell the fueler, hey, this is how much we need. But now with modern technology, they get a fuel release when we get a dispatch release. So they just know. And then every once in a while I'll go down there and I'll look at it myself and be like, hey, I think we need some more gas. And then we'll just talk to them. And the nice thing is Southwest very much allows us to be pilots. And so we can go down there and within reason, I can be like, hey, I think I want an extra 1,000 pounds or I want an extra 500 pounds or whatever. And then I just talk that through with my dispatcher and tell them, hey, this is why I'm asking for this. Some other airlines are way more stringent. Where they're like, no, you need to get permission first. Southwest is very pilot friendly, and so they're like, if the pilot thinks they need more gas, like we're just going to give them more gas.
Nice. Got you. Thank you so much for answering the question. Great question, by the way, Justin. And talking about that, Justin just spawned in the 7th as an air. I think it's an F-22 above us right now. Nice. Rio has this great idea of we're planning a potluck as a family, the Flight Simulator Fantasy family. He says we're going to rent a 777 for the potluck. Oh man! Now he just changed it. Money. Yeah, he said he going Captain Nick. I need to charge a 737 from Montreal to Turks and Caicos. About how much would that cost?
Oh, I have
737.
no clue, man.
Yeah.
It's just not my wheelhouse. I mean, I fly planes, but
Yeah.
I don't deal with the ring of them. But I mean, I'm sure, legit. I mean, if you started calling these companies, if you had a legitimate, if this was something where you were like, I actually want to do this one day, you could call these companies and say, hey, here's what I'm thinking about doing. I mean, they'll take it serious as long as you're serious. If you're just calling just
Yeah.
for fun, then they're probably gonna be like, hey, we have other things going on in
Exactly,
our
yeah.
life. But
Yeah.
yeah, you could absolutely call them and tell them you're looking at
Nice,
doing
nice. Got you. Yeah, man. Maybe one day for sure, Rio. We're gonna definitely get a 737 and probably fly to somewhere and do some good stuff, man. Antonio
Let me know when
said,
you're doing it. I'll be your pilot.
hey, let's go. That'll be awesome, man. Antonio said, another question. I understand that being a pilot can be stressful at times. Do you have any strategies that you can use to manage stress?
Yeah, so one of the cool things about being a pilot is I get to completely disconnect when I'm not flying. So, like, one thing most people don't have the opportunity is, like, with a 9 to 5 job, is when they come home, like, they're still carrying their work around with them. Man, when I get done, like right now, I could hypothetically just tune everything flying related out. And I mean, of course, I'm studying for my sim, which is like the one thing a year that I kind of bring home with me. But for the most part, when I come home, I'm home, man. And I don't think about anything, about my job. And so I mitigate stress that way, where get a hobby, do something, be around good people, like detach yourself if you have to. But also, like, on overnights, like, you've got to find something that you're into. Like, I go to the gym or something,
Nice.
or I'll go take a walk or whatever. So, but the other thing is, like, in flight, you don't get to walk away from the situation. And so the beautiful thing is you need to learn to work with your crew. So if you're in a kind of a hostile situation and you're dealing with an emergency, you don't just get to, like, push pause and walk away, right? Like, you have to deal with the emergency as it's happening. We don't just get to pull over and be done. And so you need to learn to communicate with your crew. It's called crew resource management, CRM or RRM. And we have come up with a way, we call it being in the green or being in the yellow or the red. So, like, I can tell the other guy I'm flying with, hey, dude, I'm in the yellow. And that just means, like, I'm starting to get overwhelmed. I'm pulling back a little bit.
Yeah.
And if that guy says, okay, I'm in the green though, I can put a little more on him.
Nice.
And be like, hey, I need you to put some slack here, or vice versa. Like, I've had plenty of times where the guy I'm flying with is like, dude, I'm so in the yellow, and I'm like, I've got you. Like, I know exactly what's happening. The other day, we were coming into Charleston, and they gave us this really weird clearance, and that turned into a heading, which turned into, like, a different clearance. And he was like, I'm so in the yellow right now.
Wow.
And I was like, I've got you. I know exactly what they want. And so I just took over.
Nice.
So even though I think that was his leg, I was like, I've got you, because you can tell, like, he's verbalizing to me, I am stressed right now. I need some help. And I'm like, I've got you completely, because I was in the green, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a way of us to communicate with each other.
Yeah.
And say, I want you to know exactly where I'm at right now. And then all of a sudden he was like, okay, I'm in the green again. We're good. And then we just trucked on, just kept going,
Nice, man. That's a great answer, man. Thank you so much for giving that insight. Also, we have George in the chat right now. He's also a pilot. He's actually my cousin's boyfriend, or soon to be married soon. I don't know. Shout out to George. So, yeah, he's also giving his insight. He's a pilot in Antigua. He said another way is when you aren't flying, just don't think about flying. Just go home and relax and try to release and just relax.
Yeah, that's
nice.
That's that detachment. I mean,
yes, sir.
It's one of the few careers where you can truly detach. Like, there's not many careers where you can literally go home and just be like, man, I'm done.
Nice, man. Nice. So we have another question here on TikTok. So, hi, Captain. What do you think about German airports? Another person said, hey, Captain, how do you feel about the 737 actions that's been happening?
So we kind of talked about that a couple days ago when I was on the stream. The 7-3, I can only tell you what I know, and so far I have thousands of hours in these planes, and they have treated me extremely well, thank God.
Nice.
And so I have always had very safe flights with them. Nice. I've never had a problem. However, I do see what's happening in the news, and of course we all want aviation to be the safest that it's ever, and it is, like, statistically safer now than it's ever been. So it's kind of hard to fault, aviation when you're like, literally it's the safest it's ever been. But it's in the news right now. It's a hot topic. It's popular.
Yeah.
And it's popular because it's so rare.
Yeah,
So
that's
like
true.
the eclipse was in the news. Why? It's so rare
Yep.
that all of a sudden it's a big deal. So aviation's kind of like that, where if anything happens, it makes the news quick.
Yep.
We don't report every car crash that happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a
So
great example.
yeah, I would
Eclipse.
love to.
Yep.
I'd love to see, you know, every little kink get worked out. And you know, I don't know what's going on. I know when McDonnell Douglas got in the mix, I know that kind of turned some stuff
Yeah.
around. And so yeah, I definitely want to see some changes too. I mean, I fly the
Gotcha.
planes. I want
Exactly.
everything to be cool.
Nice. We got Rio with a good question here. So, Captain Nick, can you still fly private while working commercial?
Kind of. So like all that flight time counts. So as long as, like, we call it flying 91. So like flying part 91, that time doesn't necessarily count, but flying 121 or 135, which is 121 is airlines, 135 is corporate or charter. I cannot fly 135 because that time will count against my total flight time of 121. So basically, to put that a little bit easier, if I'm flying for hire, that time all counts, and I can only fly so many hours a day, a week, a month, and a year for my airline. So my airline doesn't want to be like, they don't want that time taken away.
Yeah.
Me flying for other, like I work Southwest, I'm not gonna mess up their times by me flying for another company. But if I own my own plane and I'm flying what's called Part 91, it's just general aviation, they don't mind if I go out and fly, you know, like my wife and I around just for fun. That doesn't count against my time.
Okay, got you. That makes sense. That's a great question, Rio. Great question. We have a question here from Brian. Said, was he flying when the solar eclipse was happening, and was it near totality?
So I was not. Like I said, I took this week off with family. I'm studying for my sim. So my wife and I we went biking and went to this cool park and just enjoyed the solar eclipse together. We were like right up against the Rocky Mountains. It was great. So I think we got close to 66% totality percent. But last time we were in Kentucky where it was a total eclipse. And I think the next one that happens in the world is going to be Greenland, Iceland. And we're talking actually about traveling for that one, going to see that and the Northern Lights at the same time.
Nice. Got you. Rio went back to that's a good question. He said, how would you all handle a situation if y'all both are in the red or yellow? Talking about stress in the aircraft and pilots. If you both are in the red or yellow, how would you guys handle that situation?
Knock on wood, that's super, super rare. I mean, but that's the point of it. Talk about it. So like, I mean, just like in real life, I mean, you've been around someone where you both are like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. That's okay. Talk about that. Like, tell each other, dude, I'm just as lost as you. That's fine. Now let's find an answer.
Yeah.
So the big thing, like we work on a thing called MADAM. It's like maintain aircraft control.
Yeah.
Analyze the situation, and then like actually take some action, and then maintain situational awareness. So break it down to its most basic steps. So even if we're both in the red, that doesn't mean we don't know what's going on. That just means I'm stressed. Like that just means I'm in a spot where I am actively pulling away from the extra stuff, right? Yeah. So like, if you've ever heard of like tunnel vision?
Yes.
That's all that means. It doesn't mean I don't know what's going on and I'm losing control of the plane. It means I'm tunnel visioning a little bit. So like, maybe we tell ATC, hey, listen, we'll get back to you, right? Because ATC is there I hear this a lot, it's a discrepancy. ATC is there for the pilots. The pilots are not there for ATC. So you will hear me say it all the time. Aviate, navigate, communicate.
Nice.
Communicate's the third thing for a reason. That's the last thing you need to do. You need to fly the plane, figure out what's going on, where you want to go, then talk about your intentions. So if we're both in the red, that's fine. We need to start cutting out the extremities, right? So maybe we tell ATC, hey, listen, we're dealing with something, we'll get back to you. And you hear that a lot if you listen. So I know, like, Trip, you post these all the time.
Yeah.
When you hear these people talk, our first priority is not to talk to ATC. Like, sometimes when they're quiet, you'll hear people, like, you'll see people write in the post, they're like, oh man, the pilots didn't even talk. Yeah, they were dealing with something. Like they are
Mm.
doing their job. So it's kind of like having a smooth landing, right? Like not every smooth landing is a good landing. Like sometimes I want a firm landing, and people who don't understand aviation don't quite get that, and that's fine. But like if we're both in the red, let's start cutting out the extra stuff. Let's divvy the workload a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we tell the flight attendants, hold on. Maybe we stop making a PA. Maybe we tell ATC to hang tight, and like let's regroup, figure out what we want to do with the situation. And then, so like when that guy was in the yellow, we were getting all these clearances from ATC. I was just like, ATC, you need to hang on for a second. Here's what our first move is going to be. We'll call you back.
Gotcha.
And that just immediately brought him back into the green, because it like took something off of his plate. And then I was like, I'm going to load the box for you. Here's where I need you to go first. And then he was like, cool, I'm back with you. We're both back in the green. I can take that breath, take that step back. So if we're both in the red, we just need to stop. Like sometimes the best action is inaction. Just stop for a second, take a breath, regroup. All right, let's focus on one thing at a time.
Nice. I like that. As George in the chat just said, he said, aviate, navigate, and communicate. Yes, sir. Welcome to the stream. Destiny, this is me, and we are online with the awesome Captain Trip. He's telling, I can't say Captain Trip, Captain wonderful Trip. Nick. Captain Nick. He's on the phone right now. We're talking about aviation. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know, man. Welcome to the stream, everyone. If you're just hopping on, once again, like I just said, on the line with Captain Nick for Southwest, feel free to ask any questions. So we have another question here. Hey, Chloe, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. He says, question here from Antonio. How do you deal with a squall line in flight? A squall line in flight.
So I'm guessing we're talking about thunderstorms. If we've got a really nasty embedded thunderstorm, then we are looking definitely to, like, you don't want to outrun one. So it'll depend on the situation. So, for example, going into Fort Myers last week, I was fighting a squall line. I was fighting a thunderstorm. It was an embedded thunderstorm.
Wow. And
that one I did have to try to outrun, but I knew I had enough space to do it. But in generality, like if I'm flying, for example, Miami to LaGuardia, that's running north. If I see a squall line coming, I'm going to get behind it. You want to go on the upwind side, not the downwind side. So kind of think of it like, okay, if there's a fire and it's blowing smoke, like, are you standing in front of the smoke, or are you going to get behind it?
Yeah, exactly.
So with like a squall line, I'm going to try to give it some space, and I'm going to try to get behind it so that I can feel some smooth air. I'm not getting rocked around. If you're flying in front of this thing, you are going to get beat up.
Wow. Got you. That was a good question, Antonio. Great question. You guys are giving some great questions today and some great answers. We got about 6 more minutes left with Captain Nick. I know he said 45 minutes. I'm making sure we're not going overtime. So much love to you, man. We have another question here. Oh, yeah. Welcome back, Justin. Glad to have you back, man. Let me see. Juki said, how does it feel to talk to ATC?
Kind of like anything. I mean, when you first start, it's a little nerve-wracking. You know, this is something actually that we talk about quite a bit, which is good for people who are looking at getting into aviation. Yeah. Realize they are just people. So slow it down. Understand that they may be using some big lingo. They may be talking fast. That's okay. If you don't understand them, just be like, hey, I don't get what you're asking for. Slow it down. You ask me again. ATC, once you learn the lingo, and like, you know, the other thing is like, you kind of know what they're going to ask. So when you're flying an ILS approach and you're getting vectored around, you know, at some point they're going to give you a heading and altitude, maintain until you're cleared for the approach, blah, blah, blah. And it sounds very quick, but if you know it's coming, so they'll tell you like, Captain Trip, turn left, heading 330, descend, maintain 2,500 until you're established on the localizer, clear for the ILS, runway 35. Sheesh. Well, that's fat. That's a lot. But if you knew, I'm about to get a heading, I'm about to get an altitude, I already know what approach I'm flying. Like I'm, runway 35, right? Yeah. So if they gave you a heading, they gave you an altitude, all the words in between all that, it's just filler stuff, man. So your response, 350, 2,500 till established, clear for the ILS 35. You knew you were going for the ILS 35. You just needed to know what heading, what altitude. So you can kind of pre-plan. My wife's talking to our cat. You can kind of pre-plan what they're going to say. You just know what's happening. And that just comes with experience, man. And the best experience is unfortunately going through the BS and realizing that there's going to be times where you're going to get the tongue twisters. There's going to be times where you're just like, what did you just say? Like, and that's okay, man. Like, just tell them, hey, I didn't catch any of that. And one of the best things I ever heard, and it was a Southwest pilot or not, I was a student, and we were flying around, and it was a lady controller, and man, she could talk fast. She sounded like she was an auctioneer.
Wow.
And I heard this guy, and he was like a total true cowboy. He went, ma'am, you are speaking faster than I'm hearing. And like, she just knew, like, okay, need to slow down. And she did, and he got the clearance, and everything was good. Like, just talk to him like humans, though.
Nice. That is crazy. That's good to know. It's good to know. It's good to know. So Liam said, is this 787? No, sir, this is 777. But yeah, thank you so much for that great answer once again. Willie said, hey, Captain, my uncle is a flight attendant on Southwest. Nice.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, do you know
awesome,
what base?
Awesome. Yeah, Willie, do you know what base? That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty awesome. Let me see. We have a question here from Antonio. So how do you prevent a Dutch roll from happening?
You stay coordinated. So, like, with anything, you know, your rudder pedals are not just there for fun, right? So generally with a Dutch roll, you're getting uncoordinated, and you need to basically keep the, you know, like they say, like, step on the ball. You need to keep coordination, and then you'll never have a problem with a spin or a Dutch roll or anything weird like that. Generally, you're going to get a Dutch roll because you're coming in on final, you're over controlling for the wind, you're not monitoring your rudder pedals, your input, and now all of a sudden you're in a Dutch roll. So just stay coordinated, you know, mind your feet, and you're good to go.
Oh, nice. Willie said he's based in LAS, Las Vegas. Nice.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
I might have flown with him. I was based in Vegas for a while too.
Oh, that's pretty cool, man. Awesome. Liam said the 777 is the one that got me into aviation. Nice, man. Yeah, the 777 is a beautiful aircraft. Say favorite and least favorite aircrafts to fly. It's Buddha, man. Favorite and least aircrafts to fly.
In the sim or just in real life? Or,
I think in real life he means. I know.
I mean, I'm pretty partial now to the 7.3, of course. I have flown some private jets that were a lot of fun to fly, and they go, you know, like we're too heavy to get, like, we go up to like 41,000 feet. It's pretty rare that we're at 41, but we do. But like in the private jet world, man, I used to be in the high 40s, the low 50s even, and like you see the curvature of the earth, and you know, it's, you're going fast and you're high. So that was always fun to fly. And then anything I can do aerobatics in would probably be the best answer. I love being upside down.
Really?
Obviously not fun doing a 7.3, but
yeah.
Yeah, I would say anything that's fun to go in.
Nice. Captain Hobie, who's sometimes in the chat, he also loves to fly high and fly around and do some crazy stuff, but that's pretty cool. Brianna, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. Chloe said, hey, Captain, how are you doing? Do you plan on coming to Aruba for vacation anytime soon?
I mean, we haven't planned yet. It's getting hotter, so I think we're more looking, like I say, like Ireland or you know, something like that next. But Aruba might be a good place to go. We've got a vacation coming up in October, November, something like that as well. So we might look for a warmer destination in the colder months.
Nice. Well, once again, guys, we got exactly 1 more minute left with Captain Nick. Any more questions before we let him go? Christian with a question said, hi, Captain Nick, what is your favorite airport? Nice. Said, Chloe, are you playing for the tickets? Good question, Rio.
Actually, I've got a little more time than we
nice.
She's gonna go work out.
Perfect. So you let me know when let me know when you have to hop off. But yes, the next question was, what's your favorite airport?
Favorite airport? That's pretty tricky, man. I mean, I'm pretty partial to PDX Portland just because that's where I grew up. Nice. I love anything where you can see mountains or water. So like Seattle, San Diego, San Francisco, those are all fun to fly into as well.
Oh, nice.
Key West is a lot of fun to fly into as well.
Nice. We got a question here from Rockout. Said, Captain Nick, I've been wondering who prepares the sheet you guys get for the flight plan and stuff like that.
Our dispatchers, man, and our dispatchers are freaking rock stars.
Nice.
We have a whole team of people that so they they'll work like X amount of flights. So for example, like let's say my dispatcher is also working V6 flights, and they will prepare based on past evidence, and we keep track of everything. Like we can get things down to like the minute, or down to like within a couple 100 pounds of fuel, which is crazy. And so our dispatcher will work with us hand in hand, and they will prepare the flight for us, the route, the fuel, the altitudes, etc. And then we look over it and make sure we agree with it. And every once in a while we'll be like, hey, we don't like this, so we'll talk to them. Or every once in a while we make a decision, they're like, hey, what are you doing? And so it's just a big teamwork.
Teamwork. That is awesome. Yeah, Willie, you do have to change the ECOSA server. Spooderman said, have you ever flown into Detroit before?
I have many times.
Nice.
I like Detroit, especially. I think Detroit has the Top Gun arrival. So you get a bunch of fun waypoints that are all Top Gun themed.
Awesome. Yeah. Liam on TikTok said, what's your commercial type?
I'm trying to figure out kind of what.
Yeah,
me too. What am I type rated?
Type rating. I think he means type rating. Yeah.
Okay, probably. So I am type rated on the Embraer 170, 175, 190, 195, and the Boeing 737, 700, 800 max.
Nice. How was flying the Embraer, man? Because me and Brian and a few other people in the chat, we absolutely love the Embraer airplane. And how was it flying? Is it smooth? Is it easy to fly? How was it?
That is a phenomenal plane. Love that plane. But the only problem that I have with the Embraer is it will take your pilot skills away because it is so automated. It is which is good, in one way where you're like, oh, this is very automated. It's very integrated. So like, for example, when you go to start an engine,
yeah,
like you just click start, and it's like it gets it. Whereas on the 7.3, you like turn the packs off and like turn the bleeds and like make sure the APU bleeds on and like make sure this is cross feeding, and like back in the day, like the 717 or the MD80, like you had to open the cross feed and open the hydraulics, and like you were like practically out there like hand cranking an engine. It was just terrible. Whereas on the 175 and the 195, you like literally go to start, and the FADEC and the plane just does everything for you, and I mean everything. And so you literally are not doing anything.
Wow, that is pretty cool.
Which is cool because it's super integrated, right? The 220s like that, the A350, the 787. But you do lose some system knowledge and some pilotage because all of a sudden going from that plane to the 7.3, I took a huge step back. Like if people think like bigger plane means more sophistication, that is not true. Going from the 175, which is smaller than the 7.3, and then people think because the 7.3 is bigger, they're like, oh, this plane is more sophisticated, it's got more technology. That's not true at all. The 175 had way more technology.
Wow.
Way more integrated. And so when I went back to the 7.3, I was like wrangling a pterodactyl, and I was like having to manually deal with packs and bleeds and start switches and start levers and introducing fuel, and I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? So
wow, that's good to know. Wow, didn't actually know that. That's pretty cool. Interesting.
Go ahead and start that PMDG 737 from scratch. We'll see what I'm talking about.
It's going to be crazy. Imagine. We have a question here from Mary. Said, do you guys get to choose your flights and destinations, or is it just given to you?
Kind of both. So every month we bid for what we want our schedule to be, and based on your seniority, you get like, so this month I got like my 50th choice or whatever, so I put the top of the top, I put like I want this schedule, this is the best schedule, and then like if I don't get that though, I want this one, and if I don't get either one of those, then I want this one, and you keep going down, and depending on your seniority, whatever's left, you get that. So if you're at the bottom of the list, it's literally what everyone else has gotten, you get what's left. And then I'm 50% of the way up through Denver, and so depending on what you're looking for, whether that's days off or certain, I could be like, I only want these overnights, like San Diego, Miami, Detroit, whatever, and I might, get those if my seniority is high enough to hold them.
Nice. That makes sense.
That's a good question.
That's a great
Everything's
question.
seniority. So that's
Nice.
why, like with aviation, everything is seniority driven.
Got you. So it depends on how long you're in the company, how long you've been a pilot. Nice. Got you. Great question, Mary. So we have a question here from Sporterman said, are all MAX aircrafts on the same type rating? One type rating?
Well, no, because like we have, so like even, within the 737, I'm typed on the 700, 800, and the MAX 8, but like there's also like a MAX 9 out there, right? So
Yep.
I'm not type rated on the MAX 9, even though feasibly, same plane, I could go on and fly it. I can't legally because I'm not type rated on that plane. So like, there's the, let's just say like, and this is not same, but like, there's not just like a Cessna 172. There's like a Cessna 172 RG, and there's a 172 this, and there's a 172 that. Like there's like 20 different types of Cessna 172s in the world. And if they required a type rating, then you may not be able to fly all of them. You would just be like, oh, I'm type on this one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
A little bit?
Yeah, that makes sense. Got you. Thank you so much for that answer. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Rio said, is the CRJ easier to fly than the Embraer 175?
God, no. The CRJ, and I say that with all love and disdain, the CRJ is a cool plane. It is nowhere near, it's a little more like, people were lucky when they flew the CRJ and then came to the 737 because they were kind of used to the manual labor. All of us who went on the 175, the 195, we call that the Barbie jet because truly, like, it makes life easy. And so going from that plane to the 7.3 was like a big smack in the face. Whereas if you were on the CRJ is a little more in line with the 7.3 as far as, how manual it is and how like you actually have to do stuff. Now, at least the 7.3 though, we have auto throttles, whereas the CRJs don't.
Oh, the CRJs don't.
So,
wow.
They don't. The 175 does, but the CRJs don't.
Wow. Okay, did not know that. Well, once again, Jay, welcome to the stream, man. Where are you right now? We're just about to land in Zurich. We're about 70 nautical miles out. The plane we're going to be where we're going to next, not sure. Captain Nick is going to be choosing that. We're looking for a 30-minute flight to Captain Nick whenever the pressure's on. Whenever you're ready, let us know what a good flight could be in Europe, could be in the U.S. Let us know. Good to see you, BJ, the best barber in the world. Good to see you, man. So just stopping by. What's up? Doing good, man. But yeah, so Captain Nick, whenever you're ready. Yusuf, good to see you, man. If you're having a good 30-minute flight that you normally fly in Southwest, nice short flight, let us know. Abby, thank you so much for the gifts on TikTok. Much love. All right. No pressure.
What if we went? I'm trying to think. What if we went from Seattle to? I don't know if this would be a little long, but Seattle to Portland, Seattle to PDX.
Okay.
Seattle
PDX. Got you. All right. So let me write that down. That should be a good flight. Should be about 45, 50 minutes. I think that's perfect. Yeah. So Seattle to PDX, guys. Remember. Portland smash in the chat if you guys remember that. I'm not going to say what happened in Portland last time we flew over there, but we did have a crazy wonderful time in Portland last time. Well, welcome to the stream, everyone. We're just about to land in Zurich. We have on the line the awesome Captain Nick, flies for Southwest, and he's answering some questions. Any questions you guys have? We are overtime right now with him. We are lucky to have more time. He's giving us some more time, so much love to him once again. Any more questions? Let us know. Let's go ahead and begin our descent into Zurich. Here we go. Somebody asked, Liam said, have you flown out from LAX, Los Angeles?
Oh yeah, many times.
Oh, nice. Is it busy?
LA is another place that I really like. I mean, it gets a kind of a bad rap because it's kind of a busy airspace, but LA does a good job, man. Like they do, and it helps that like our gates are right up there against the north runway, and so we're kind of away from like the heavy metal to the south. So we're kind of like in our own little world there. But yeah, I really enjoy going into LA. And that's another one of those places where like I get to see mountains.
Yeah.
I get to see water. I get to see like the topography change. Like I'm not a huge fan and I get to dog on Kansas City because I lived there and I love the place. But flying into Kansas City is not as fun to me as flying into like DC, because DC you get some of the ridges over there, plus you get like the water, and you get like the River Visual 19 if you ever get to see that.
Nice.
That approach is pretty crazy.
Really nice. Nice. So would you say that's one of the your favorite place to fly into?
DC or LAX?
DC.
Oh yeah, DC's always got a special place in my heart. I was based in DC for like 6
really?
years.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
So DC will always have a special place in my heart.
Nice. So do you get to choose where you're based, basically, or how does that work? Did it just base you wherever randomly, or do you get to have a say in where you're based in the U.S.?
Yes. So same thing. You bid for it. And so one of the things I love about Southwest versus American, United, and Delta, one of the reasons why I didn't go with United is for Southwest, we have one plane type, whereas United has many, right? So you don't only have a seniority number. Like with Southwest, I have a seniority number that's throughout the company, and then I have a seniority number based on Denver, because I'm based in Denver. So I'm, number blah in the company, but I'm 50% up the way through Denver, for example. But when you go to like United, you're like, I have a seniority number for this, but I'm based here, but I'm on the Airbus 320. So can I hold this base and then switch over to, the 787? And like that bid may only happen like once every 3 months. Whereas at Southwest, we get to bid every single month. So if I wanted next month to be based in Orlando, I could bid for it and get it. Or then I'm like, oh, now I want to go back to Vegas or Los Angeles or, Oakland or Denver. Like I can literally switch my base every single month if I wanted to.
Wow, really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is awesome,
and
man.
that you don't get that at other airlines though, because they're trying to deal with so many different variables.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the big quality of life things that I wanted. That's the reason why I wanted to go to Southwest, was the quality of life.
Nice. I like that. That is awesome. That is awesome.
I could be a snowbird and come down and see you in Miami.
Nice. We'd love that, man. We'd love that. About the tablets in the plane, some people say that they see a lot of tablets in the airplane. Do you have to provide one yourself, or does the company?
No, the company.
Oh,
yeah, the company gives this to them. Now, and we're responsible for them. Like, I'm not going to go break it.
Yeah.
But then at the end, so I have like 6 of them at the house right now.
Wow.
If anyone's looking for an iPad. So I buy them from the company afterwards at a big discount. So like,
nice.
I've got mine in my hand right now.
Awesome.
I was studying with it. And then after X amount of years, when we upgrade to the next one, they'll be like, either send it back to us or you can buy it from us for like, $120 or whatever the number is. So
okay, that's good. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I've got like 6 of them now. So
wow, that's a lot, man. That's pretty cool. And Tony said, do you plan to be based elsewhere in the future?
No, not unless I'm going to go live with Trip.
Come on down, man.
No, I mean, I've always wanted to live in Denver, and I was fortunate enough, I picked Southwest. They've got a Denver base, and I'm very happy in Denver. So not until, many years from now, if I'm like, you know what, I just kind of want to move somewhere. But like, we're opening up new bases all the time. Like I used to live in Nashville for 10 years.
Oh, really?
To college.
10 years, wow.
Yeah, it's to fly. And Southwest just opened up a Nashville base. Like I could move to Nashville again, but I love Denver, so I don't see us moving.
Nice. That's awesome, man. So like to the question you said in the Discord, I think you said you want to tackle when somebody asks you, I want to be a pilot, what's next?
Yes.
What's next?
Like,
yeah.
I get this question so many times, and it's very hard on Discord to give emotion sometimes, where you're just typing.
Yeah.
And so I was dealing with one of the guys in the Discord. He's younger, and he was like, what do I even do? So the first thing is you kind of want to figure out, are you wanting to just kind of fly here and there? Are you wanting to like straight up like tackle flight school? Do you want to go to a cadet program? Do you want to go to ATP? So like you need to figure out your first steps. And he, for example, was young, and so they wouldn't let him into like an ATP type school or a cadet program. But he's like, I want to at least start training here and there. And so to that, I would say find a local flight school, and there will be many more than you think. So like, just because, so he lived close to Atlanta, and I think a lot of people are like, oh, I need to go to the major airport. That is not true. In between where he lived in Atlanta, there's probably 10 different airports that are smaller airports that have flight training at them.
Wow.
So where you live, Trip, I know, grow up essentially in your aviation career, talking to ATC, you're never scared to talk to ATC. Whereas when I taught at a non-Towered airport and I took them to Towered airport, they were terrified, right? Like they would stutter all over the radios.
Yeah.
They would freeze up completely, and I would have to walk them through it, which is normal. That's part of flight training. But if I can start you off at a Towered airport, you tend to be better at talking on the radios long term.
Oh, okay, got you. That's a good information to know. Talking about stuttering, we had a video. I posted a video last week where the ATC was dealing with a engine fire over Southwest, and he was stuttering like crazy. And everyone in the comments, it was a big discussion. Like, how would they hire him with a stutter? What is your take on that? Is it okay?
I mean, he's dealing with a lot of stuff right there. Like, if you got an engine fire, arguably the worst thing that can happen on a plane is a fire.
Exactly.
And so that could just be kind of a stress response of like, and you got to think like, I wish we could film while we were in the sims, and I may ask whoever is running my sim, I may ask them to film, because I think we are doing an engine fire actually in the sim this year.
Oh, nice.
You don't realize how busy it is because it's so easy to Monday morning quarterback when you're like, oh man, he's stuttering, or this guy sounded this way or that way. Dude, when you're in like a plane that's on fire, we're running checklist, QRH, QRC. We're talking to ATC. We're talking to each other. We're trying to talk to the people in the back. We're trying to talk to the flight attendants. Like, it is so unbelievably busy.
Exactly.
That, like, you got to get off people's backs when they are nervous or when they're, it's like taking a test and then making fun of someone who didn't get 100%. Like, back up. Back up. Did they handle the situation? Did everything turn out okay? If the answer is yes, you need to start there and just be like, then they did a dang good job.
Exactly.
If the answer is no, the plane caught fire and everyone died, we need to take a step back and be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Because truly, maybe he wasn't ready for it. But I promise you, the training that we go through, and it's not just like once a year, like to get to this point, if I wrote that out for you, I think you'd be blown away at what I had to do to get to this point in my career.
Wow.
Let alone the yearly training we do, the quarterly training we do, it's a lot. And like when I go to Dallas this week, I'm going to be there for 5 days, and 3 of those days I'll be in the sim for like 8 hours a day. And that sounds like, oh, well, people work 8-hour jobs.
Nah, that's crazy.
AOPA did a study that said in the sim, for every hour a pilot's in the sim, it is like working an 8-hour job every hour. So if you do 8 hours in a sim, 8 times 8 is what, 64?
Mm-hmm.
It's like your brain just did 64 hours, but we're going to do that 3 days in a row.
Wow. That is insane. 8
look
hours.
At the big picture. Yeah, look at the big picture. Did everything turn out okay? Yes.
Exactly.
Then kind of Monday morning quarterback from there. But give the guys some props. I mean, and not just him, like the 2 pilots, 3 or 4 flight attendants in the back, they're working too, man. Like, you got an engine fire, those flight attendants are not just sitting there on their hands. Like, it's a whole crew situation. ATC did a great job, pilots did a great job, flight attendants did a great job. For that matter, people did a great job.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe one of our biggest things is like keeping people contained when something happens. People are our biggest variable. So people want to just go blowing slides, or like they want to like open the windows. It's like, dude, just stay where you are for a second. Let us fight this fire.
Yeah.
And what they were talking about is in our checklist. We're trying to keep the firefighters safe. And I know people brought that up. They're like, oh, are you trying to tell the firefighter how to do his job?
Yeah.
No, it's reiteration. We're all trying to back each other up. So we're telling the firefighters, hey, we're going to blow a bottle here. That's halon. If you breathe that in, doing this for forever. Well, yeah, but we all talk to each other and we reiterate. That way, everyone stays safe.
Yeah.
But I think they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, especially in those situations, very high stressful situation, because during that time the plane is on fire, the engine's on fire, and even the ATC is asking like how many people on board or how many soldiers on board and all that stuff.
Right.
And the pilot is definitely stressed out and whatnot, but he's doing a great job of running his checklist and whatnot. So yeah, you guys are doing an awesome job. And yes, Southwest has been going through a lot for the last week, I should say, because you heard about the engine, the coiling falling off the engine and whatnot. There's a lot of stuff going on, but the pilots did a great job. They figured out what's going on. They communicated with the flight attendants of what they saw back there, and they landed safely. So I think everything went well, for sure.
Yeah, that was out of Denver, and I think, and I don't know if we have like what actually happened yet, but it looks like maybe a latch.
Yes, I heard that on news. Yep.
Done or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's been like substantiated yet, but that's just what it looked like, and that's they did a great job, man. And like, here's the other thing about an engine fire.
Yeah.
What the engine attached to? It's attached to the wing. And do you know what's in the wing? Is a ton of fuel.
Oh, boy.
And so we're in a time sensitive,
that is
a critical situation to be like, we need to separate, like stop the fuel line, stop fuel, stop hydraulics, stop the bleed air that's coming into the cabin. So like, there's just a lot going on all at the same time that we're trying to fight. It's not just, we're not just up there being like, huh, what's happening?
Wow. I know it's definitely stressful. So once again, thank you so much for all you do, man. You're a great pilot. Rio City just landed on a taxiway. It happens, Rio.
I've got a number for you to call, Rio.
I think that happened at Harrison Ford a few years ago, landing on the taxiway. That is wild. But yeah, man. To the person that I think they said they left the cowling on latch, do you think they're gonna get fired for that, or are they gonna be just say it's a mistake?
Man. Like, people are human, and I would think, let's retrain, let's figure out what happened, why it happened, because like that's the other thing that's really hard about aviation, right?
Yeah,
you could have a 40-year career doing everything right, and you got to think, man, like it's a pretty unforgiving career if anything happens, right? So like, you remember when Sully and Skiles went into the Hudson? Their careers were judged on like a 3-minute flight. Wow. Their whole career, every flight they've ever done, every millions of passengers they've flown, everything they'd ever done was judged based on, it was like 200 and something seconds. That's crazy to me. No other career out there is judged on such a short span of time, right? And so when like this guy forgets a latch, no one died, everyone was safe, everyone handled it well. Let's figure out what happened. Let's figure out what the root cause was, and let's fix that. Like, let's stop trying to fire everyone when maybe this person had a lot going on. Okay, well, let's fix our internal procedures. Why did they have so much going on that they forgot that latch? So let's get more to the root cause instead of trying to crucify every person who has a problem.
Exactly. I 100% agree with that, for sure. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the beautiful Zurich. You guys, a nice landing. Thank you guys so much, man. Yes, sir. I just landed in the beautiful Zurich, man. Chloe said she's going to eat some dinner. Got you. Yeah, Captain Nick, what you have for dinner, man? Since we're talking about dinner.
I actually haven't eaten yet today. What? I had a protein shake, and I did like a 10-mile bike ride. And
10 miles.
So
Captain Nick.
I need to get something.
Sheesh. Nah, 10 miles is a lot. That is awesome. Nice. Awesome, man. Yes, sir. The next flight is going to be from Seattle over to the beautiful PDX, Portland. I think they said it was a 16-minute flight. That's fine. That is fine. It's fine. Andrew said, have you flew to Corpus
Christi? I have.
Nice.
And that's a cool place because, they do carrier landings there. So that carrier that's out in the ocean is a static, like they have cemented that thing into the ground. It's not going anywhere. And so when they're doing carrier qual, that's where they, when they learn on a runway, the Navy does. And then once they start going to carriers, they go to that one because it is not moving. And then they go to a moving carrier.
Oh, okay. Got you. That makes sense. Got you. So Officer Jack has a great question here. He says, if I'm looking to get my ATP license eventually, Should I start to study now, or should I be up in the air getting my recreational license now in late high school?
So, I mean, you could kind of do both. I wouldn't go for a recreational license if I'm going to go for my ATP. I would go for my private license. And so, I would start studying because everyone thinks flight training is all about flying, and ironically, it's not. It's kind of like learning to drive a car. Driving the car is the easy part. Learning the right-of-way rules, learning, who goes first on a four-way stop, or like, what does that road sign mean, or like, how do you merge? Like those parallel parking, like those are the things that make driving hard. It's not necessarily how to push the gas and go. And so I would say if you can knock out some ground learning, that would be like you could start on that anytime, at any age, learning that stuff. And that will make, once you go for your licenses, that will make that so much easier because you've already knocked out some of the hard stuff.
Nice.
That's a good question.
Great question. Antonio said, great pilot diet. He said, a 10-mile bike ride and a protein shake. Yes, sir. Got to keep in shape.
I need to get food.
That sounds good.
Someone get me pizza.
Oh, man. Let me see. Officer Jack said, and is this something that any pilot school would offer potentially? Any pilot school could offer potentially?
Yeah, man. I mean, so if you're on Discord, I want you to message me, because what we do is we are trying to help people who want to learn, like truly want to learn. We work with some people who really, really want to learn and get ahead of the game. That way, once they start flight training, they can be like, hey, I already know this. I mean, not in a cocky way, but just like, it's just easier to learn something if you already kind of have the basics of it, right?
Yeah.
So why pay a flight school to teach you something? And I mean, most flight schools right now, they're going to charge you almost probably like $50, $75 an hour, right, to learn something. Whereas, like, dude, ask me in the chat and I can teach you for free.
Exactly. That is pretty awesome.
So like, let's get you on the right track. I'll tell you the books you need, and you can get, and I'll show you how to get them for free. We can save you thousands of dollars before you get to a flight school, so that you're not spending $3,000-$4,000 for something I can teach you for free.
Nice. I like that. Thank you so much for that, man. He said thank you so much for the answer. Yeah, thank you so much, man. As Captain Nick said,
yeah, man,
we're here to help, man. Feel free to join the Discord. The Discord is linked in the description right now on YouTube and on TikTok. Feel free to join. It's free information. Just Captain Nick is an awesome guy. Just want to help some people out to become pilots, man. Much love to everyone. Doza, good to see you. She said, hey, from Colombia. Oh, you're in Colombia now, Doza. Nice. Awesome. Let me see. WD Production said, what is Captain Nick's? Oh, the Discord he's in the Discord with us. It's he's under Ask a Pilot. We have a bunch of different channels on the left hand side. You can ask him any question you have in that Ask a Pilot for sure. Let me see. Alexa said he has a question. He said, Captain Nick, what is the bigger hub for Southwest that you've flown on? Biggest hub?
Denver, baby. We what's crazy is Southwest has always been a Texas company. So they started in Dallas, and Dallas was like the place, right? Like the big hub. And then all of a sudden, and so you got to remember, Denver is a United hub, Frontier hub. And Southwest said, we're going to come into Denver, and United and Frontier kind of laughed at them. And they were like, why would you come in here? We already own this place. And we came in, we do more flights in and out of Denver than both United and Frontier now. We have more pilots there. We do more flights there. We run Denver, which is great. So Denver we have more captains and first officers, more crew members in Denver than we do anywhere else. And it's obviously it's close with, Dallas is a close second, and so are some other places, but I think technically Denver's our number one base right now.
Nice. Officer Jack said, isn't BWI the biggest hub or something? That's what he says. BWI.
Not anymore. I've got the numbers. I get them every month. And obviously there's a little bit of change here and there, but no, BWI is nowhere near Denver.
Nice. Gotcha. So got it right. Got the answer, Jack. Rio says Southwest flight to Toronto and Montreal soon. Give it time. Nice.
Oh, I hope so, man. We don't fly into Canada. I miss flying into Canada. My last company, we used to go into Canada all the time. And
Oh, really?
being from Washington State, I used to go up into Canada all the time.
Wow.
I miss my Canadians.
Nice. And Tony said Philly is going to be a Frontier hub this year. So now American and Frontier, but I wish Southwest was in Philly more. Nice.
I do too, man. With Southwest, I don't actually think I've even flown into Philly once. Whereas
What?
with my last company, because we did flying for American United and Delta, I was in Philly literally probably five times a week. I flew into Philly.
Wow.
Yeah, I used to be in Philly all the time.
That's a lot.
With Southwest, I've never even landed in Philly with Southwest yet.
Wow. Interesting.
I miss it.
Christian said, can the Concorde land in Portland, Captain Nick? Can the Concorde land in Portland?
I have no clue, man. I mean, unfortunately, I wasn't flying when the Concorde was around, so I don't really know anything about it, and I don't actually own it either. I believe in you, and I think you can absolutely do it.
Nah.
You may want to start in the grass first, but
yeah, for sure, man. Do you think there's ever going to be another Concorde, something like that?
Yes. Boom Aviation, dude, they're working on it right now. They just did their first proofing flight.
Nice.
So it's called Boom Aviation.
Yeah.
And they just did it's a 1/3 scale. It's called a proofing flight. So they didn't like break December or anything, but it's just to make sure that plane actually flies, and it's it's not just a static model anymore. It's like an actual pen work. It doesn't do any weird, crazy thing that we didn't expect it not to do. So yeah, it's look that up. It's called Boom Aviation.
Boom Aviation, got you. Nice. Yeah, would there be any safety worries about that going so fast and so high? Technology has definitely improved so fast. I think what was the reason they stopped making a Concorde? I heard it was because the cost was too expensive, or
that's the problem. Dude, we had this technology forever ago, and you got to think about it. Fighter jets, we break the sound barrier all the time with them.
Exactly.
All the time. And the Concorde, back in the 70s, and 60s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s, was doing Mach 2.5. I mean,
Wow.
it's not like we don't have the technology. It's done it, and it's done it safely for years. But it is so stupid expensive to break the sound barrier. It is so much drag. I want you to get into a pool, okay? And I want you to try to swim at 15 miles an hour.
Oh my goodness.
So the irony is, the faster you swim, the harder not just your body has to work, but you have more against you, right? You're trying to push through the water. So when you're just walking through a pool, you kind of do that weird moonwalk looking thing, but then you try to run through a pool, slipping and you know what I'm saying? Air is a fluid too. Even though we think of fluid, we think of water. Air is a fluid. So just fluid dynamics. If you are trying to push through the sound barrier, it is so much drag on that plane that you're trying to push through.
Yeah.
It becomes so expensive. And you have to think, when I fly my plane, the 737 Southwest, dude, we're almost at the sound barrier.
Wow.
I know it. Seriously, we do Mach 0.82. The 747 is on Mach 0.93. That is 9/10 the speed of sound. We are up against the sound barrier.
My goodness.
So, yes, it is absolutely possible. No, it's not. Once you figure out the aerodynamics, the problem with breaking the sound barrier is kind of twofold. You've got to figure out a way to go past the sound barrier. Also, you don't want, it's called a Mach tuck. You don't want to get Mach tuck, which is where the air hits the wing, and instead of conforming to the wing, because you're going so fast, it jumps the wing completely, and you have zero control.
Wow.
So a lot of pilots died when we were learning to break the sound barrier because they would get into what's called Mach tuck.
Wow.
And so, it's expensive. The Concorde, any plane could have hit that piece of metal that was on the runway. The Concorde, they were looking for a reason to discontinue the Concorde. It was way
Really?
too expensive. Yeah, well, it wasn't a big plane. Like you're breaking the sound barrier going Mach 2.5 at 60,000 feet.
Mm.
Well, crazy and crazy expensive. So the tickets were expensive, but they were burning cash every flight. They were not making money on that plane.
Wow.
It was a proof of concept. It was cool to do. It was a kind of a flex on other countries.
Yep.
So that's cool. That's all well and good, but it's not sustainable. Now
Wow.
we have more. We understand aerodynamics better. We have more efficient. Like look at the F-22 can go supersonic without being in afterburner.
That's true.
So it saves so much money to fly that plane because it can break a sound barrier without being an afterburner. Every other fighter essentially has to be an afterburner to bust through that sound barrier. The F-22 can do it subsonic, or they can go supersonic without afterburner. So, like, we are learning more and more. But the Concorde was never not safe. It was just they were looking for a reason to kind of scrap the program, and then they found it.
Wow. That is so good to know. That is great information, man. Thank you so much, because we do love the Concorde on here on the channel, so that is great to know. A lot of people ask, why did it stop making a Concorde? Is there going to be another Concorde? So that was a great answer, man. Much love. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I need to get it in Microsoft Flight Sim. I've never flown it, actually.
For sure. I think it's on sale right now. Yeah, everything's on sale right now till I think the 12th. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's a huge sale going on. So I would say for sure pick it up and check it out. It's pretty nice.
That's awesome.
Nice. Once again, guys, thank you so much for hopping on. Willie, good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a good night. Shout out to everyone on the stream. What's up, Pilot Wyatt? Right now, we're headed over to the beautiful Portland. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, we have two Willies in the chat. So Willie number 1, number 2. Willie said, "Hello, Captain Nick. How you doing? Good to see you, Willie."
What's up, buddy?
Nice. Tomorrow's suggestions. So, guys, if you guys would like to suggest any flights for tomorrow, 1 hour and 30 minutes or less, let's start that right now. We're gonna start the poll as soon as we land. We're gonna stop, or might do one more short flight since we're gonna be landing right now. But let us know if you guys have any flights for tomorrow.
Are you landing in Portland already?
Yeah, it was a 16-minute flight. Yeah.
60 or 16?
16. It was a short flight.
I was like, man, you are cruising.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm technically I'm flying like Southwest right now. I'm overspeeding like crazy right now. I'm going 412 knots. I'm in the red right now, so I'm going crazy. What's up, guys? Welcome.
We used to fly like that, actually.
Really?
Yeah, Southwest. Yeah, the joke was, if you're not in the clackers, you're not flying fast enough.
Yeah,
and so we used to fly in the bar the whole time, and then like the FAA is like, hey, don't do that, and we were like, okay, sorry.
That is funny, man. That is funny. Much love, man. We have a question here from. Let me see. I scrolled up. I think I passed it. Somebody said, "Hey, Captain Nick." 1 second. Let me find it. 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, is it Captain Nick? What plane did you use to get your PPO? What plane? Did you use
my private, I flew the DA-20 and flew the DA-40. Actually, did my the check ride in the DA-20.
Nice. What?
Awesome. Mighty Diamond Star. I love that plane, man. The Diamond Star DA-20, and it's a good plane for flight training. I would never own one because they're not feasible. Like, I know a lot of people who are like, oh, because I know how to fly the DA-40, I'm gonna own one. I'm like, why? They're not feasible. Like, they don't hold a lot of weight. Like Cessna is a workhorse. I don't think they look as cool as the Diamond Star. I like that low wing. I like the stick, but the Cessna can hold some weight. So you could actually like throw some golf clubs back there and like go to the beach or whatever. But yeah, the Diamond Star, I think that's a cool training plane for sure.
Nice. Rio asks, what private airplanes did you used to fly?
I can't talk about all of them, but I have flown the Falcon 10. I have flown a Falcon 20. Nice. I have flown in a Lear. I have flown in a Citation. And then actually the family that I flew for the most, and I love these people, the family I flew for the most, I was flying, believe it or not, a Cirrus SR-22, which is just a 4-seat plane, little prop plane, but I was teaching it was a country music star. I was teaching him how to fly the plane as well. So, like, he in Bend, Oregon, and we lived in Nashville, Tennessee at the time, and like literally we would fly from Nashville, Tennessee, cross country in a Cirrus SR-22 all the way across the country. It took forever, but
Wow.
he wanted to learn to fly, and he loved flying, and it was just a great time.
Nice. Yeah. Somebody asked, "What's the best plane to learn how to fly?" Do you have to own a plane? No.
No. You can go to a flight school. So the rule of thumb is if you're going to fly more than, I think it's 100 hours in a year,
Yeah.
it is actually cheaper to own a plane than it is to rent a plane. But you have to keep in mind, buying a dog and owning a dog are very different finances. So buying a plane, you can actually buy a plane. I could find you a great plane that runs very, very well, been very well taken care of for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. But you are gonna spend money in hangar fees, maintenance, gas, oil, engine teardowns, engine rebuilds. Like, you're gonna spend money to own the plane. But if you're serious about flight training, and like, for example, if I can go back and do it again, there is a chance I would look at going in with someone to buy a plane. So like Trip, let's say like you and I want to both become pilots.
Yeah.
You and I are both going to go in half and half, and we're going to buy a plane. It doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be expensive. We just need something to time build in. So we're going to buy a $40,000 plane together. We're both going to put in 20. We're going to split the hangar costs. We're going to split. You can learn to fly your own plane, like cheaper. I would not say cheap, but relatively cheaper
than renting.
The nice thing, the nice thing about a flight school though is like they're taking care of all that. Like, you show up, plane's ready to go. If it needs maintenance, you just walk away from it. Yeah, I mean, like, seriously, like, if you walk up, like, if you rent a rental car and it needs an oil change, like, you're not going to go to, Les Schwab and get an oil change. Like, you're going to tell them, hey, it needs an oil change. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but that's it. Kind of brings up one of my other points when I was trying to talk to this guy about the flight training. It's different for everyone, right? Like, so if you're a heavy person, maybe a Diamond Star DA-20, that's not a good fit for you. It's a tight plane. Or if you're like, oh, I want to do my flight training in a Cessna 182 or a 172 because I'm thinking about buying a Cessna one day too. Or, you just need to find something that fits your needs. So that's what I was telling this guy. His name's Master on the
Master 11. Yep.
Yeah, I was telling him, I was like, you need to find what works for you. And it's so hard because I think he kind of wanted me to kind of help, tell him like just where to go. Like, hey, where would you go? And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you that because that's like saying, hey, what kind of car should I buy next? Well, do you want a truck? Do you want a car? Do you want an SUV? Do you want it to be fast? Do you want it to look cool? Do you want it to get good gas mileage? Like, everything is very personal dependent. So I would look for a local flight school. You have to decide whether or not you want it to be at a controlled airport or not, a towered airport. And then I would look for what kind of equipment does this place operate. So do they only have 2 planes and they don't take very good care of them? Or do they have a plethora of different planes you want to learn to fly in? Do they take really good care of their planes? Like, I like to have an older plane to have flight school students fly in, to be like, I'm going to teach you how to fly round dial steam gauge planes, because your first job out on the line might not be in a nice G1000 plane. It's just not. So I want to teach you everything I can. Well, if the flight school doesn't have one of those types of planes, it's kind of hard to teach you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's a lot to look for, man.
Yeah, great. Yeah, that's like buying a house versus renting a house. If you buy the house, you gotta make sure you look for your maintenance. You gotta actually find somebody to fix this and fix that. If you're renting it, just call the maintenance person, and they'll come out with a plumber or somebody to fix your sink or whatever, and that's it. So the same thing, difference between owning the plane and actually renting it. That's good. Thank you so much for that awesome insight. Appreciate that so much. Abraham, good to see you, man. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a good day. Abraham said that let me scroll back up. He said, does joining the Air Force improves your chances to become a commercial pilot? He said, I have friends who were in the Air Force and they became commercial pilots. Nice.
So that's very dependent on. I would not join the Air Force just because of that. So, for example, I had a Navy flight slot when I was in college, and I was super excited to join the military. I was super excited, but it's because I wanted to join the military, and it was because I wanted to fly. I had a fighter spot, so I had an F-18. They were working on the Super Hornet at the time, so I had an F-18 Super Hornet spot in the Navy through the BDCP program. But when the 2008 recession hit, then all of a sudden they were pulling all those back, and everyone who was getting out was staying in. And so I ended up not going into the Navy. But I wouldn't join, for example, the Air Force or the Navy if I didn't want to have a military career, for example. So, and it very much depends on what's the economy doing, right? So if the economy, is booming, man, they don't care where you get your flight time from. Like, yeah, but they love hiring from the military, but they're not going to not hire you just because you weren't in the military. Whereas if it's in a rough economy and they're trying to be choosy, yeah, you may have a better spot, if you were like, well, I'm prior military. So it just kind of depends. But I've definitely, if you're like, oh, I really don't want to join the military, but I wouldn't do it then. But if you're like, man, that sounds cool, then yeah, do that.
Nice. Good answer. Question here, might be the last question here from Jack Shed. Jack said, is Microsoft Flight Simulator or X-Plane a good start to your training, or is it too unrealistic?
No, very, very, very good question. I'm glad that was asked. One of the things that I would definitely recommend to any person wanting to become a pilot is get X-Plane, get Microsoft Flight Simulator, whatever. But here's the thing. You cannot get Microsoft Flight Simulator and then jump in an F-22 and hope that you now understand stuff. And so you'll see me most of the time, you'll see me in a fighter jet. That's just is the way it is. I'm going to, if I join on the stream, I'm going to be in an F-22, an F-14, an F-15, an F-16, whatever. But I fly planes for a living. If I want to learn how to fly a plane, buy Microsoft Flight Simulator, get into a Cessna 172, and actually train. And I will help you all along the way. I'll tell you, we can do some virtual flight instruction, or I can kind of write a lesson plan for you. I think even Microsoft Flight Simulator has a lesson plan on there that you can do, hold this altitude, but turn to this heading. Okay, now let's try a climbing turn. Now let's do this, let's do that. Matter of fact, Trip, I think one cool thing for one of your next streams is I think it'd be cool if you did what's called a round robin flight. So, for example, what you just did, you flew from Seattle to Portland. What I want you to do is you're going to come in, you're going to do a touch and go, and you're going to fly back to Seattle, or you're going to fly back to a different airport. So you're not going to stop and reload. You're going to come in, you're going to plan a flight to Portland. And then from Portland, you're going to do a touch and go. Or full stop taxi back, take back off, whatever. I think it'd be cooler looking to do a touch and go. And then fly to somewhere. So on this one, you could have done Seattle, Portland, touch and go, and then from Portland on to fly the coast down to San Francisco, for example, and then be done.
I love that idea.
I think that'd be kind of cool for you.
For sure, we can do that tomorrow. The second flight. That sounds awesome, man. Thank you so much for that, man. That is a great idea. For sure. Tomorrow we're gonna do the touch and go, and as Abraham just said, that's a great suggestion, and he loves it. Awesome. So we got that down tomorrow for sure. Gonna be doing that touch and go on the second flight. Much love. Thank you so much, Captain Nick. Let me see. WD Productions said that's so true. Flying a plane in real life feel different than on the simulator. For sure. We're gonna be landing right now into the beautiful Portland, guys. Welcome to the stream. Right now we are voting for the flight tomorrow. Right now, Egypt to Kuwait is in the lead, and we're on the phone with the awesome Captain Nick. Thank you so much for being on, man. I know you said 45 minutes, but you stayed on for way longer than that, man. I really appreciate you so much for hopping on.
I love you guys too much, man.
I know you got studying to do, man, but I appreciate you so much for hopping on and answering some questions and whatnot. That is awesome. One last question. If we can answer one last question before we go. Justin said, going off of Abraham's questions, if you were to go to the military to do aviation, and after military, do you need to renew your pilot license to fly commercially?
Kind of. So it very much depends. Ironically, right? An F-18, they do not consider that a multi-engine plane because it's center line thrust, right? So like the engines that we fly, they're very far apart. So if I lose an engine, it is a big, like, while you're flying, kill one of your engines, and you'll see what I'm talking about, because you're gonna have this huge job on it, and you have to fight that the whole time. Whereas the reason why in like a F-18, it's center line thrust. So if you lose an engine, like you lost power, but you're not in some crazy uncontrollable, like having to fight it the whole time. It's just like you just lost some thrust, right? So there is an equation of, if you flew this plane, you know, we will give you a certain amount of time towards this and this. And I'm not the best person because I didn't actually end up going into the military, but I do have a lot of friends. I can send that off to them and get some answers if you'd like. But I do know, like, you will get like your actual private pilot's license while you're in the military. And then you basically learn all these other things. You may have to, once you come out, you may have to get some ratings though, to kind of bring you up to speed, if you will.
Nice.
Like up to the ratings that we need for ATP.
Nice. Well, thank you so much once again, man. Appreciate you guys so much for hopping on, man. Captain Nick, I can't say anymore, man. You just have been awesome tonight, man. I really appreciate you so much for sharing your insights once again, taking the time out your day to answer a bunch of questions, man. You've been on for an hour and 40 minutes, man. I really appreciate you so much for all you do. And we love that we have you in our community, and you're doing an awesome job in our chat, man. Thank you so much for all your help, man. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Much love.
Hey, really quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Chillin' Willie, yes, you can finance flight school.
Oh, great question. Yeah. You want to elaborate on that? We can...
well, it's just, that's a big one that I get all the time, where they're like, how do I get the money to do this? It is not cheap. You know, financing it is what most of us did. It's kind of like becoming a doctor, right? Like, they didn't just have the money, most of them, to just become a doctor. They had to finance it. And then over time, yes, you'll just pay down and pay off your loans, try to hit those as fast as you can, because they will kill you with interest. So like what I did was, essentially every dollar I had, you know, I think I finally paid mine off at 27 years old, which is, for most people, they're in their 30s and 40s still paying them down. I literally took everything I had. I didn't go on vacation. I didn't go out with people. I didn't party. I didn't, like, every dollar went towards it. And so you're going to want to knock those out as soon as humanly possible. But yes, most people actually do finance their flight school.
Nice. Great answer. Thank you so much for asking that, Willie. And as Abraham said, he said, I'll ask more questions next time. He's so awesome. Yes, sir. He is indeed awesome. And shout out to you, Captain Nick. We appreciate you, bro.
Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you guys.
All right, guys. So once again, thank you so much for hopping on, man. We had an awesome podcast with Captain Nick. Appreciate you so much. Hope everyone have a wonderful night. Tomorrow night we'll be on at maybe 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. And then we'll try to do that awesome flight from Egypt to Kuwait. And then afterwards we'll do that wonderful flight he suggested. So once again, appreciate you guys. Shout out to everyone on TikTok. Shout out to Soccer Guy. Shout out to Loaded. Shout out to your boy. Everyone on TikTok. Much love. The YouTube family, we appreciate you guys. Doza, Master 11, Willie, Antonio, Abraham, Justin, Master 11, Brian, Rio, everyone in the chat. Appreciate you guys so much for hopping on, man. Mary, much love to you. Hope everyone have a wonderful night. Appreciate you guys so much. And once again, thank you so much. George, big up F.S.F, man. Didn't know you were still there, man. Much love. And Captain Nick, once again, man, thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you so much, and hope everyone have a wonderful night. And tomorrow, going from Egypt to Kuwait. See you guys tomorrow. Much love.
I love you guys.
I love you, man. Peace.